Class is one of those words people use constantly and define almost never. And because it goes undefined, most women spend years chasing the wrong things. The right handbag, the right address, the right accent, believing that class is something you acquire. It is not. It is something you demonstrate. Specifically, through a set of behaviors so consistent, so quiet, and so deliberate that the women who have them are often the last ones to be able to name them. They simply live them. I have spent 20 years in rooms where presence, composure, and social intelligence were the actual currency. Rooms where what you wore mattered far less than how you moved, how you listened, how you responded under pressure, and what you did after you left. And in those rooms, I watched the same 8 behaviors appear in every woman who commanded genuine respect, regardless of her background, her budget, or her age. Today, I'm giving you all 8, not vague principles, specific, actionable behaviors you can begin holding today, and that will change how every room receives you. Stay until the end. I have a free gift waiting, the Elegant Morning Routine Checklist, 12 rituals of women who are timeless, healthy, and undeniable after 40. I will tell you exactly where to get it, but only if you stay. Behavior 1. How she enters a room. Most women enter a room as a question. They cross the threshold and their body asks, "Is it all right that I'm here? Does anyone notice? Where should I go?" The hesitation is subtle, a slight angling of the body, a peripheral glance, a pause at the door that lasts one beat too long. Most people cannot name what they are reading, but they read it. I want to show you what the alternative looks like and why it works the way it does. But first, there is something you need to understand. Research from Princeton found that observers form reliable impressions of a person's status, confidence, and authority within 100 milliseconds of watching them move. Before you speak, before anyone has seen your face clearly, the speed of your walk, the width of the space you occupy, whether you pause at a threshold or move through it, all of it is processed instantly and registered as data about who you are. I learned this the hard way. Early in my career, I was preparing for a presentation at a brand event in New York, a room full of people whose opinions shaped the industry I was working in. A woman I respected enormously watched me walk in during rehearsal and said, very quietly, "You are entering like someone who hopes to be permitted. Walk in like someone who was expected." I asked her what the difference looked like. She said, "Head level, pace unchanged, eyes forward, and you choose where you go. You do not wait to be directed." I practiced that entrance for 20 minutes before the event. The feedback I received that evening had nothing to do with what I said. 2 separate people told me I seemed different, more authoritative than they had expected. I had not changed a word of my presentation. I had changed my entrance. The resolve. Behavior 1 is the decided entrance. Head level, pace deliberate, eyes forward. You do not slow at the threshold. You do not scan for permission. You move through the door as though you were expected. Choose your direction and arrive. Practice it. It takes 20 minutes to rewire a habit you may have been holding for 20 years. But here is where most women stop. And a commanding entrance means nothing if what happens once you are in the room undermines it. Behavior 2. The quality of her attention. Most women in conversation are half present. They are listening with one part of their mind and composing their response with the other. And the person they are speaking with feels it. Not consciously, but in the quality of the exchange. Something is slightly off. The connection does not fully land. I want to show you what genuine attention does to a conversation and to a woman's reputation. But first, there is something you need to understand. Research from Harvard Business School on conversational behavior found that the single most powerful predictor of how positively a person was rated after a conversation was not how interesting they were, how knowledgeable they were, or how much they contributed. It was how well they listened. Specifically, whether the other person felt genuinely heard. A mentor of mine, a woman in her 60s who had spent 30 years in rooms that required her to be perpetually impressive, told me once that she had never tried to be the most interesting person in a conversation after the age of 40. She tried to be the most interested. She said, "The woman who makes you feel like the only person in the room is the woman you remember, always." The resolve. Behavior 2 is full attention. Phone face down or absent, eye contact held without intensity, and the discipline to finish receiving before you begin responding. Ask one question before you offer one opinion. This is not passivity. It is the most sophisticated social skill in any room, and it is one of the rarest. And attention without the follow-through question is only half the signal. Behavior 3, she asks better questions than she gives answers. This is the behavior that separates women who are interesting to speak with from women who are unforgettable to speak with. And most women have been taught the wrong direction entirely, to prepare what they will say rather than prepare what they will ask. A woman I know, a diplomat I have had dinner with a dozen times over 15 years, has never once, in my experience, led with her own opinion in a conversation. She leads with curiosity, a precise, genuine question that signals, I have been paying attention and I want to understand more. The effect on the person receiving it is extraordinary. They leave the conversation feeling seen, valued, and this is the specific outcome, they associate that feeling with her. Research from the University of Harvard on question asking in social settings found that people who asked more follow-up questions were rated as significantly more likable, more intelligent, and more trustworthy by their conversation partners, regardless of the content of anything else they said. The resolve. Behavior 3 is the intentional question. Before every social engagement, a dinner, a meeting, an event, prepare 2 genuine questions about the people you expect to encounter. Not small talk. Real questions. What are you working on that has your attention right now? What changed your mind about that? These questions are not networking tools. They are a signal of the quality of your inner life, and people remember them. Behavior 4, how she receives rudeness. This is the one that reveals everything. More than any other behavior on this list, how a woman responds to discomfort, dismissal, or social pressure is the clearest signal of her actual identity, not the identity she performs when things are easy. I want to show you the specific response pattern that women of genuine class use, and why it works so differently from what most women do. But first, there is something you need to understand. Most women, when confronted with rudeness, do one of 2 things. They absorb it silently and feel diminished, or they react to it and feel exposed. Both responses hand the power of the moment to the person who was rude. Neither is class. Years ago, at a dinner in Paris, I was on the receiving end of a dismissal from a man across the table, not aggressive, but pointed, designed to reduce. I watched a woman beside me receive the same treatment moments later. She paused, a full, unhurried pause, looked at him with complete composure, and said, "That is an interesting way to see it." Then she turned to the person on her other side and continued the conversation. No heat, no performance, total control. Afterwards, I asked her how she had learned to do that. She said, "I decided a long time ago that I would never let someone else's poor behavior become my problem to solve publicly." The resolve, behavior 4, is the composed non-reaction. When rudeness arrives, pause before you respond. A genuine pause, not a suppressed one. Name what you observed, if necessary, without emotion. That felt dismissive. Or simply redirect the conversation. What you never do is match the energy. The woman who does not take the bait is always the most powerful person in that exchange. But here's where most women stop. And composure in one moment is not the same as composure as a standard. I promised you something at the beginning of this video. The elegant morning routine checklist. 12 rituals of women who are timeless, healthy, and undeniable after 40. It is the morning architecture that builds the inner standard. These 8 behaviors require cortisol regulation, grooming rituals, identity-setting practices, and the daily habits that prepare a woman to show up fully in every room she enters. The link is in the description. It is free. It is yours. And if you are already on the list, did you see the last email I sent? Most of you said it really hit home. If you haven't read it yet, go check it. I think it will surprise you. Behavior 5, she does not speak poorly of other women. This behavior is so simple it sounds obvious, and it is violated constantly. In casual conversation, in social settings, in the small asides that women tell themselves are harmless. They are not harmless. Research on social perception found that the traits a person attributes to others are in a phenomenon called spontaneous trait transference, attributed back to the speaker by listeners. When you describe another woman as petty, the brain of the person you are speaking to registers petty in association with you. Not consciously, automatically. The women I know who command the deepest respect share one consistent behavior. They do not speak reductively about other women. Not in private, not in passing, not in the language of faint praise designed to diminish. A board director I have known for a decade told me her rule: I never say anything about a woman in her absence that I would not say with her in the room. She has held that standard for 20 years. The reputation it has built her is, she said, the professional asset she is most proud of. The resolve. Behavior 5 is the clean absence of reductive speech about other women. This is not about being universally positive. It is about being precise and fair. If you have a genuine concern, name it directly to the person. If you do not, say nothing. The woman who is known never to cut other women down is a woman everyone trusts with their reputation, which is exactly what our Undeniables complete system covers in detail. A complete blueprint for identity mastery, social intelligence, presence, and the standards that make a woman quietly undeniable in every room she enters. It is linked in the description below. But here is where most women stop. And none of these behavioral standards land without the visual foundation that frames all of them. Behavior 6. The grooming floor she never drops below. Class and appearance is not about expensive clothing. It is about a minimum standard, a floor, that is held consistently regardless of the occasion, the budget, or the day. I learned this from a woman I sat beside at a conference in Milan. She was not wearing anything remarkable, but the leather of her shoes was conditioned. Her nails were clean and finished. Her hair was decided, and she carried a quiet, completed quality that I found myself studying. Later, I asked her how she thought about getting dressed. She said, I have a minimum. I never go below it. Above it, I adjust for context. Below it, I do not go. The minimum is not expensive. It is specific. Pressed clothes, a handheld steamer takes 90 seconds. Finished nails, not elaborate, never chipped. Decided hair, not perfect, chosen. Conditioned shoes, and one fragrance worn consistently because research from the Monell Chemical Senses Center confirmed that scent creates more durable social memory than visual appearance. The resolve? Behavior 6 is the grooming floor. Define yours. Pressed, finished, decided, conditioned, fragrant. These 5 standards take less than 10 minutes of preparation and signal to every person you encounter that you are someone who does not let standards slide, including your own. But here is where most women stop. An appearance without one final visual check produces an incomplete signal. Behavior 7. She checks the full picture before she leaves. This behavior is small and almost never discussed, and it is the difference between a woman who looks polished and a woman who looks assembled. Most women check the mirror from the front, up close, and leave. The woman of class checks from a distance and checks the back. She has looked at herself the way the room will see her, not the way the bathroom mirror presents her. She has confirmed that what she chose that morning has remained chosen, that the hem is where it should be, that the back of the blouse is tucked, that the exit she makes from her home is as deliberate as the entrance she will make at her destination. A stylist I worked with in my fashion years called this completing the picture. She said, most women dress for the mirror. Elegant women dress for the room. The resolve? Behavior 7 is the full-length distance check before leaving. Every day. Front, side, back. From at least 6 feet away. You are not looking for problems. You are confirming that the picture is complete, that everything you chose is still chosen. This takes 45 seconds, and it is the last act of self-respect before the world receives you. But here's where most women stop, and everything I have described so far governs the impression you make. The final behavior governs the impression you leave. Behavior 8, the follow-through after the event. Most women leave a dinner, a meeting, or an event and move on. The event is over. The impression is made. What else is there? There is everything. Because the women who build the deepest, most durable reputations understand that the event itself is only the opening. What happens in the 24 hours after is where real class is demonstrated, and where most women, through omission alone, quietly forfeit the impression they worked all evening to create. I began following through consistently in my late 30s after watching a woman I admired send a handwritten note to the host of a dinner I had also attended. I had sent nothing. She had sent a note that named one specific thing from the evening, a conversation, a detail, something that proved she had been genuinely present. The host spoke about it the next time I saw her. Not effusively. Just, "Wasn't that thoughtful?" 2 words. And I understood that the evening, for that woman, had produced something mine had not. A relationship that had moved one deliberate step forward. Research on relationship maintenance from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that small, specific acts of acknowledgement after shared experiences, a note, a message, a named reference to something particular, produce significantly stronger relational bonds than the shared experience alone. The event opens the door. The follow-through decides whether you walk through it. Here is the complete framework. Behavior 1, you enter every room as though you were expected. Behavior 2, you give your full attention before you offer your opinion. Behavior 3, you ask better questions than you deliver answers. Behavior 4, you meet rudeness with composure, not reaction. Behavior 5, you never speak reductively about other women. Behavior 6, you hold a grooming floor you never drop below. Behavior 7, you complete the picture before you leave the house. And behavior 8, you follow through after the event with something specific, personal, and prompt. None of these require money. None of them require a particular background. Every single one of them requires only a decision. And the discipline to hold it even when no one is watching, especially when no one is watching. Because that is precisely when class reveals itself. Class is not something you find. It is something you decide and then demonstrate quietly every single day. The next video is about the habits that govern how you age from the inside, the wellness practices that make the behaviors I described today feel effortless rather than performed. Subscribe and hit the bell. I will see you there. Isabel.